Just some tips about overall effective teaching that he learned while he was at this conference. So thank you so much for doing this small presentation for us.
Thank you
I
for the
appreciate
opportunity.
all of your attendance.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mitra Devakota, as she introduced to me. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for coming to this talk this morning. And in this talk, basically what I'll be doing is I will share with you all the experience, the teaching tips that I got from different colleagues or in different sessions, presentation sessions in 35th Annual Lilly Conference in Oxford, Ohio. Yes, this is Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. It was last year, 2015, November. Okay, so let me start from here. The title for the talk is How to Make Teaching Effective. That's what it means. It will discuss some of the tips for teaching, okay? The first thing is use a PowerPoint slides in teaching. I know you all are using PowerPoint slides in your teaching. That's what I do. The thing is, the research has shown the PowerPoint presentations will make your teaching extremely effective, very effective, okay? The thing is, how do you create, how do you design your PowerPoint slides? That matters a lot. I have 2 slides here, I have 4 slides here for you as a reference. One of the slides is this one. This is the slide that I used to use like many years ago for teaching confidence interval. Maybe some of you have heard the confidence interval in statistics. The terms I needed are point estimate, confidence interval, confidence level, margin of error. What I'm doing in this slide is, whatever the terms I need for that lecture, all those things are defined here. I've given the formula for the confidence interval, like right here. The confidence interval is equal to x bar plus minus the formula G critical times sigma divided by square root of n. Everything is given there. Even the confidence level, the margin of error, all the definitions, the meaning of the terms, everything given here. That's one way. The other way is, I just write down what is point estimate. Very short definition or very short overview what point estimate is. Confidence interval, I just write down the formula. And in this case, what I do is, I write down the formula and then confidence interval is equal to x bar plus minus G critical times sigma divided by square root of n, where, and then there is a blank, there is space. I did not complete the PowerPoint. The purpose of doing this is, if I bring this kind of PowerPoint in the class, then it will help me make the class effective or active participation for the students. What I can do is, what is X bar? Tell me. I'll ask to the students and then some of them will answer. If not, I'll answer them what is X bar. Then that will provide the opportunity for the students to write down on the paper. Okay, X bar means this. What is that sigma again? What does that stand for? What does this mean? And then I'll tell them. I'll describe here. And then on their paper they will write down. Not on the paper, on this PowerPoint slides, they will already have prepared one. So they will write down what that sigma is. What is n? So they will write down here. So what I'm trying to say is, if I do this one, they have nothing to do. Just sitting in the class, listen to the lecture and then go home. Done.
Yes.
No active participation in the class. Opposed to this one, they will be actively participating in the class. If I fail to tell what X bar is, at least out of 40 people, at least one person will ask, Professor, what does that X bar stand for? I'm not quite sure. Can you tell me? Oh yes, thank you for asking. Yes, X bar means the sample mean. So one person will ask, I'll answer, everybody in the class will get that one. So to make long story short, my idea is not to put everything you need, everything they need in the PowerPoint. Put the main things only and then give this slide to the students and then let them fill this up in the class. That way, there will be active participation from the student side. Okay? They have at least something to do in the class. That's what I wanted to tell. Same thing, like for example, this example, I completely solved this problem. Nothing to be done by the students. I go to the class with this slide, I'll tell them, hey, this is the formula and this is the calculation done. They have nothing to do. And this one, the same question, I did not do that. I have the question and then add the formula, and then the students need to fill them up in the class. If they need help, I'll tell them, this is the confidence interval, this is the standard error, this is the margin of error. I will describe in the class. So the advantage, the benefit is, it will help you involve the students in the classroom learning process. Same thing is on that slide. So the point is, don't make the PowerPoint too verbose. Do not describe too much. Put only important points in the form of bullets, and then you describe in the class. Let the students write down. Let the students work on the slides. That's what I'm saying. And then that makes your students actively participate in the classroom learning process. That's what I was trying to say. Writing the syllabus. This is something described in one of the sessions. He was sharing in the conference. There was a conflict with the student when something was not clear in the syllabus. For example, in the syllabus I say 70 to 79, a C, 80 to 89, a B, 90 to whatever upstairs, that's an A. How about 79 to 80? Suppose somebody comes 79.4. What do you do? Do you do rounding? Or what do you do? There was a conflict between the student and the instructor. So to avoid that kind of conflict, be very clear how do you assign the grades in that syllabus. That might help you reduce the conflict with the students. Clearly state the grading criteria and clearly state the due date policies, your assignment, homework, projects, what are the due dates? Be very clear on your syllabus. I know most of you do, and if you are not doing any of these things, recommended. Working with the students, the main thing I learned from the Lilly conference is, how do you work with the students? That's the main thing that an instructor has to be very careful about. There are many tips. One of them is, make an attempt to respond to students' emails as soon as possible. Let's say it's weekend, Friday. A student is working on the homework problem. He's confused in the middle. Oh, which formula is going to work for this? Let's say math. Then, I don't know which one is going to work for this one. Looks like this formula or looks like this formula. How do you answer this question? I don't know. The due is tomorrow. The student will send you an email, and you will not respond until Monday. Then the student will not be able to complete the homework. So do not wait until Monday morning to respond to the student's emails. That's what that says. As far as possible. Not always possible for me as well, but if possible, try to answer students' emails as soon as possible. Make an attempt to grade and return the graded assignments, exams as soon as possible. You take the exam, you give the exam today, and then wait until 10 days to return the graded exams. If possible, return the graded exams as soon as possible. And be clear on the textbook requirement. Even when I was a student, I used to have that experience. Like, instructor, hey, you have to buy this book for this course. I used to pay like $160 to get the book. And entire semester, maybe 2 or 3 days only in the semester we used the book. I paid $160 and then the book was not used. If possible, like if we need the book, let's recommend the book for the students. If we don't need too much, let's not recommend. The possibility is, the alternative is, in today's world, in computer, online, there are so many open source, freely available, electronic versions of the books available. So, check on the internet if those books are available, and if possible, recommend those books for the students. Check if electronic versions of the books are available online for free. If that is the case, why do we ask the students to pay like $200 for one book, which they will never use after the semester is over? In most of the cases, unless they are like the same major, like math major, they'll keep the book. Let's say psychology major, and then they are taking one stats class. The semester is over, they will not use this. So if that is the case, then do not recommend very expensive books. Use the online versions, electronic sources. And then, working with the students. Provide multiple opportunities to correct the mistakes and turn in the assignments. I know this is a little hard to implement. It's not that easy, but the thing is, You give the homework today, next week they will turn in. One student got 6 out of 10. Basically he failed almost, 6 out of 10. What you could do, okay, you got 6 out of 10, you lost 4 points already. What I will let you do, take this homework back again, and then try to solve all the problems, missing problems. First you give them the idea, what are the things missing, how to solve those, you help them, and then tell them to again try to finish the homework, whatever is missing part. And then if 4 points are missing, when they again do it and then resubmit, give them not 4, 2 out of 4. That way you'll get 8 out of 10. What do you lose giving 2 points extra for the student? You don't lose anything from your side. From the student's side, he or she got 2 more points with the hard work, not for free. You give the opportunity, the student learned, right? He or she was failing, just 6 out of 10. And then you give the opportunity, yes, you have to spend a little bit more time to get the homework again, yes, but the student got the chance to retry the homework, redo the homework, learn the problem, and then pass the course. What do you lose doing that? You will not lose anything giving the extra 2 points. But that 2 points you are not giving for free. The student is working on him or herself. After the midterm, organize a one-to-one conference with the student. How is the course going with you? How do you like the course? Is the speed of the course that I'm doing in the class, is it too fast? Are you following me or not? What kind of difficulties are you facing in the class? Ask that. You could say, why not? After the semester is over, there is evaluation, right? That's okay. Why do you do it in the middle? The thing is, if you do it in the middle, you'll get the response. Using that response, you can redesign or you can restructure your course for the rest of the semester. Like 3-month semester, 4-month semester, halfway through, like in 2 months, if you get the response, oh, this thing I was doing, that was not quite correct. That's not quite good way. I need to change now. This will give you some time for you to make the correction of what you are doing and it was not quite good. So you change yourself. Okay, I was assigning the homework in this way. It was not quite good. I'll change now. You can do that thing. So ask the feedback from the students. What's going on about the course? How is the course going for them? They have any problems, difficulties they are facing while doing homework or in lectures, like that. This is one very interesting thing I learned from the Lilly conference. One of the faculty was sharing with me. In the class, I'm teaching 60 students. 15 are getting an A, 15 are getting a B, 15 hardly a C, and then let's say 15 people are failing. What you could do is this. Don't tell them what you are doing, but those people who are getting an A, give them some card. Don't use green or red, like use brown or pink, something like that. Those getting a B, give a different color. Don't give them green, don't give them red. Because if I give you green and then give her red, that might give the psychology that, okay, she's getting green means she's doing very well. I'm getting red, so I'm getting really bad. No, don't use green and then red. Use like pink or brown or the colors like that. So, whoever is getting an A, those are getting the cards with the same color. Getting a B, they're getting the card with the same color. Getting a C, card with the same color. And then getting a D, card with the same color. Don't tell them what you are doing. What is the meaning of those colors? Don't tell them. And then, when you assign the homework, when you assign the project work, big assignment or big homework or big project, what you could do is, all those getting an A, find one person with, don't tell them A, B, and C. If you have pink color, find one of your friends with brown color, one with whatever color, and then one with that color. So, in each group there are 4 students with 4 colors. Don't tell them the meaning of those colors, that you should not be telling that. And then, in each group, there are students like getting an A, getting a B, getting a C, getting a D. And then assign the project, let them work together, and the student who is doing really well can help the other one who is not doing that well. They can work together. In some cases, the poor student might hesitate asking with you, but will enjoy, will not hesitate asking with his or her friend. sometimes learning becomes more easier with their friends than with you. You are just facilitating rather than teaching. You are giving the environment. So the students in each group, they are from A, B, C, D categories. So we'll work together and learn from each other. I like that idea, and then I'm going to implement that in my project this semester. And then he was saying he has already used that since several semesters. It works quite well. So I hope that does. Yes, provide an opportunity for the weak students to work with the talented ones. That's what I was trying to tell. In the class, give short quizzes without announcement. If you tell them tomorrow is going to be a quiz, everyone will come. And the next day, oh yeah, there's no quiz, I don't need to go to the class. They might not come. What do? Give the quiz without announcement. What is the result? The result is this instructor could take the quiz, give the quiz any day without announcement. So we should not be missing the class. If you tell them, okay, coming Friday is the quiz, that means Monday or Friday, Monday and Wednesday, even if I miss the class, no big deal. Friday I'll come for the quiz. Give the quiz without announcement. That way, it will help you increase the classroom participation, classroom attendance. Many people will attend the lecture because they know there will be quiz unannounced. And on those quizzes, do not ask very hard questions. That's not a good idea. The purpose of those quizzes is to increase the attendance. And you are not giving any announcement, you are not doing any announcement for that quiz, so do not ask very hard questions. Ask the question that can be answered by most of the students. Ask easy questions. That means what happens? Even if the poor student will get good score, that will give the motivation for the student. Okay, looks like this course is not too hard. I think I can pass this course. I think I can do well in this course. That gives the motivation. And then the student will be encouraged to work harder in the course. Even if he is very poor one in terms of learning, he will think like, okay, see, I answered the questions correctly here in the quiz. That means I can do on the homework as well. And so I can do an exam as well. So the student will start trying himself or herself. So that might help. Use of clickers. I think some of you have already used clickers in the classroom. I used to use in different places, but I have not used here. Clickers. If you use clickers in the classroom, there are two advantages of using the clicker. One is it will help you keep track of the attendance. You don't need to take a paper and then, okay, put your name here, sign up your name here. You don't need to do that, number one. Number second is, like the one I told you earlier, the multiple choice quiz. Short quiz. Give them the quiz, and then they'll answer using the clicker, and then the response will be recorded electronically, and you will have access to that online. So that will help you increase the attendance, number one. Classroom participation, like see, after 3 minutes or 4 minutes, this instructor is going to give the quiz in the clicker, so I should listen to him. Rather than going to the smartphone and then doing this and that, that student will be listening to you, because there will be quiz after a few minutes. Short quiz. So do that. Use of electronic devices such as cell phones interfere considerably in learning process. So try different ways, whatever you think is appropriate for avoiding the use of cell phones in the classroom. Okay? So that's the last part of this presentation. That's all for now. If you have any questions, I would like to tell you. Plus, the main thing I should be telling you is, these are my opinions or the opinion of my colleagues who attended the conference. It does not tell you, it does not mean you should be doing this. If you are not doing this, you are not a good instructor. Not at all. Absolutely not. These are the opinions of my colleagues. These are the opinions from me. Okay? Those which you think, okay, this sounds good, you can implement. If you don't, that's okay. And if you are not using these ideas, I'm not saying you are not a good teacher because you are not doing these things. Absolutely not. Okay? These are my opinions, plus the opinion of my colleagues who attended the conference. Thank you very much for attending. Any questions?
And your topics.
Sure.
Okay, thanks, Pat. My name is Sean Dunn. I'm in the Department of Social Sciences, and like Mitra, I was at the Lilly Conference in November with 3 others, and
I think
2
you were
others.
with you there.
Yeah, 3 others, that's right.
Yeah.
And in deciding on the talk for today, I was juggling between talking about technology or talking about posing questions in the classroom. Both of those presentations at Lilly were, I thought, excellent. But I decided to go with technology, and that it's something that I'm trying to use more of in my teaching. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my own personal experience, talk a little bit about this flow chart, and then give a specific example of the Remind program that I use. For technology in general, obviously it's not a neutral enterprise. Often it is phrased as it's neutral, but it's not. Technology can be used to teach people or it can be used to blow people up, essentially. So there's different directions we could go with technology, and often I find when we talk about technology in the classroom, it's also usually one of fear or concern that online lectures will replace a bunch of people, or that technology will reduce the need for certain types of useful teaching techniques. But I find it's been quite a positive experience for me, and I think it all depends on how we implement the technology. So some of the examples that I've used for classrooms, I guess the key one for sociology has been my Twitter account. And my Twitter account is able to be a point of contact for students who are on their phones and for whatever reason aren't getting onto, it might be quicker for them to send me a message on Twitter than logging onto email and sending me an email and so forth. So that experience has taught me that opening up ways for students to contact you allows for obviously greater opportunities, or a variety of different ways for them to communicate with you, for them to ask questions, or for them to just clarify certain points and so forth. And it's from that I started thinking more about using Remind. I find Twitter also is a way that the walls of the classroom can be broken down a bit, where things that we discuss in a class can be connected to events that are taking place outside of the classroom or outside of the campus. Certainly for sociology this is quite useful. But there's a variety of announcements that all disciplines could use with regards to Twitter. For example, there's students that are now alumni that I've been able to stay in contact with that have asked me questions about possible career opportunities. The same can be done in mathematics, the same can be done in teaching, the same can be done in other disciplines. So I found that something like Twitter allows us to stay in contact with alumni who are also able to let me know about different events. So I'd strongly recommend Twitter. Now again, with technology being used and being able to be used in different directions, I think we do see with social media there is an extension of surveillance on workers. A lot of people get in trouble by things they say, inappropriate things they say on social media, be it Facebook or Twitter. So for the most part, all of my communications on Twitter are just specifically related to a sociology issue or something in the news and so forth. And it's really not gearing students or encouraging students to think one way or the other, but just to get them to think about a certain event or issue. Okay, so the flowchart that was handed out at this presentation, this is created by Katie Ritter, I believe of Eastern Kentucky University. First ask, what do you want your students to do? So if you think about how I use Twitter, one of the things that I would like students to do, connect issues in the classroom to issues outside of the classroom, or discussions in the classroom to events outside of the classroom. That was one of the things I wanted them to do. And with that, I used Twitter. And then obviously, the second thing that I wanted students to do was have another way for them to be able to contact me. I find in Shawnee State, one of the things that we do have a problem with is there's still 1 or 2 students a classroom that just don't use their university email accounts. And I don't know what's going on there, but to get around that, Twitter is just one way that they can, stay in touch with me. Ideally, they would be using their university email account, and I still don't understand why that doesn't happen. But Twitter allows me to get in touch with them outside of email. Okay, so some of the things that, if you follow the flow chart, starts with what do you want students to do, and then in purple underneath, there are a series of different tasks that students could do. This includes collect and analyze data, display data and graphs, group concepts and items together and determine relationships, peer edit, show evidence, identify major themes and key people, condense a thought, pull out main ideas, work together in a group, explain a concept, connect with others outside of the classroom, publish their work, or have a visual presentation, memorize and repetition, and then a Q&A or a review. Now in each of those, it suggests, first of all, after the task, then there's certain questions. What exactly will be done in that task? So in the beginning, is this a survey? Is it a group effort? And so forth. And then the answers to each of those guiding questions are in orange. And then the free software suggestion is in green. So some of the activities in my classroom, even just this semester, just to give one, we'll be pulling together research that students are doing in one of my classes, and I know there's professors on 2 different campuses that are interested in our research. Ideally, what we'll be able to do is to present our research or compile our research into a Google document of sorts, where other students from other campuses would also be able to build upon our research. And again, this is just another way of connecting our students to other events, but also connecting them to other students. And it's also opening up the possibilities for research in one classroom, being able to connect it to research in other classrooms. Let me think of other things. Well, I'll show how I use Rewind as a specific example of my use of software. This is Remind.com. Has anyone used this before?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you use it for classrooms?
Yes.
Okay. I know in the presentation, the person that used this, she was a soccer coach, and they were able to use it for letting parents know when it was their turn to bring drinks to whatever game. And it was able to organize it in different ways, particularly through the scheduled reminders, which I'm sure you know about if you've used it before. One thing I would say about using this at Shawnee State, my experience and someone else's experience, Shawnee State, for some reason, the university wasn't listed under the institutions and you had to write it in. And so I don't know, now that a couple of us have done it, maybe now it's available, but the last I heard, that's not the case. So when you do go to sign up, this is here in the center, you may have to just write in Shawnee State University. We're getting no respect for some reason from Remind. But anyway, when I go to log in, I just sign in with my email address and password. And it brings me to my home page. And so on the left, you'll see that I have my 4 classes listed that I'm currently teaching this semester. It has Contemporary Minority Relations, Environmental Sociology, Gender Socialization, and Media Technology and Society. It's grouped by classes right now, and I can either select classes or inbox, the inbox being chat messages I've received from students. And here at the center, it's asking, do you want to type announcement to my class? So my contemporary, it's right now selected on Contemporary Minority Relations, and here I can type an announcement of some sort. Hey, I'm talking about you right now, and then I can hit send. Now, for me, one of the key strengths of Remind is that I'm able to communicate to a student on their phone. Even I can download the app to my phone, which I haven't done. I just use right now, just use it on my office computer. But I could have it on my app, or on my phone through an app. But a student can send me a question from their phone, and their number does not get sent to me. And if I did have it on my phone as well, my number does not get sent to them. So late night prank calls on April Fool's Day wouldn't necessarily happen if you're using this. And I think students also like that privacy, obviously, right? So just to show ways that I've used this. So here's the announcements, then I can go over to participants that show students that are involved in it. Many of them were questioning whether or not they had signed up successfully. But here are some of my announcements that I have made. You see that under the main box. And one of them being my scheduled announcement, right? So here I let them know it's scheduled for April 14th. It's a reminder that your research paper is due Monday, April 18th. One of the major, I guess, motivations too for me using Remind was that in a lot of my classes I asked students not only to do quizzes and a research paper, but they do what I call a peer review assignment. And I found that last semester and the semester before, there was a steady, I don't know, 4 to 5 students each class that just forgot about the due date for the peer review assignment. And obviously with the research paper, that's the major thing that's on their mind, and then quizzes are just more immediate, and the peer review was somewhere in the middle ground that got lost. And I felt that by sending out a reminder that students just knew, okay, I've got to get it done, and I give them a few days, right? Of course, I still try to talk about it in class, but this is just one extra way of reminding. You know, you can talk about things in class, and everyone is capable of forgetting what's spoken about in class. So what I would suggest in using Remind is at the very beginning, and just to connect to what Mitra was saying, the syllabus is very useful in saying what your due dates are going to be and being very clear about that. But what you can also do prior to the semester starting is looking at the due dates that you have included in your syllabus. You can then set it up as scheduled reminders on Remind. So if Mitra has an exam in statistics on April 18th and he's putting his syllabus together at the beginning of the semester, he can go onto the website and he can have a scheduled reminder of like a few days before the exam. Hey, just a reminder that we have the exams coming up in next week or something like this. I found also with some of the messages, just of what students would ask. So one student wasn't sure about let me just see if I go to chat, right? One student wasn't sure about what was the reading for the peer review assignment. The question was reading 9 for the peer review, and I was able to respond, yes, Joan Acker's Gendered Organizations, that article. Students have also been able to ask me about, not just the topics for the peer review. They've asked me about, if they had to leave early for a quiz, that was another example. And they were able to say, hey, Wednesday I have a job interview or something. Will I be able to take the quiz before going? And it just allowed them to clarify something before class. Yeah?
Does everybody see that in the discussion, or just you
Just
and
me.
the student?
Right.
Like when the one says, what are we supposed to read? Just you?
Right, because sometimes some of the messages are very,
More
yeah,
personal in
they're
nature,
very
so
private.
it's just one-on-one? Okay.
yes, particularly if you're going to miss a class,
Yes.
um,
That's the first one.
saying something in a very detailed way, which may be too much detail or whatever, but at least no one else is seeing, so I would
Okay.
just write back that. One other aspect too about Remind, I was sick one day this semester, and so I was able to say, this was just a reminder letting them know we do have class, but we'll do the quiz on Wednesday. That was on a Monday. And there was a... Oh, okay, let me try to find it here. Maybe it's on my chat. But I was able to send out the... I was able to send out notice that, okay, hi all, Media, Technology, and Societies canceled today. And I was able to send that at about 7:30 in the morning. One class of mine at 11 o'clock, there's a student that travels down from Columbus. And so I think she has other classes as well during the day. But not having to rush out in the morning and to come all the way here and then to see the notice on the board. I always send out emails, but this allows it to go right to her phone. And so I think that's a really great benefit for students. We have students that commute from far distances, and it just saves, I think, the hassle for that. And I think it's just, it's just a way of being respectful of students, acknowledging that they do have those commutes. Yeah.
So the student has to create an account and then log in and enroll in your class somehow?
Yeah, so
kind of like,
there's two ways to do that. I'm glad you asked that. If you see on the right, ways to join a class, that's ways for students for them to join a class. So if you clicked on in-class instructions, I can put this up on the board in class, right? Where I would say, all right, what you have to do is you text a message to this number on your phone. So each course has a specific course code. So you just text, for this class, it would be GB4H, and then I think you then get the acknowledgement you're in. I found that was I followed up with this. I did it in class, the second class, I believe. I did this. The first thing I did, though, was by email, where so phone or email invites, one of the things I did was I copied and pasted email addresses for the class, and I put that in here, and I sent it out to students, and it had instructions. But there were some that, for whatever reason, weren't able to do it.
I've noticed this semester particularly, a lot of my students, I use another online homework system that's separate from Blackboard, and when I use the email list on my emails from my class list, some are going to their mother's email address and their father's email address, and it's like, it's ridiculous. I mean, like, why does our student not have their own email address, on the class list? And so that's maybe why some students aren't getting their emails, right? I mean, I get parents like, why are you telling me that my son has a quiz? Is he not doing well? And,
Right.
And,
Oh, I haven't. I've had husband and wife, I think,
Okay.
sharing, but I don't think I've had.
a father like concerned with his son's performance because like, you want me to do something now? Like, and tell him that he's got a quiz or what?
Well, that for one of the things that I'm not certain of is if I have enough time when you're trying to think of a reminder, you want to give a reminder that's close enough to the day where they're going to do something about it and they have enough time to do something about it. But you can't be too far away where they're going to forget for a second time. So I don't know if there's an exact formula for that. I had, for the peer review, it's at the most, I think, 2 days. But for the research paper, I give it 4 days. It's just now I'll be talking about it in class, but it's that one extra, you got to do this. So I think that's signing up for it. That's some of the announcements that you can do. That's the main ways that I've used it. So I might wrap up there. We've got 10 minutes.
I'd just like to say that this solves the problem that I used to contact students via Blackboard. For example, if I canceled class, I would send the group email, or I would go into my SSU where you send to everybody and say, hey, but they have to go and check their email. And who's to say they're going to, I don't check my email before I leave the house either.
Exactly.
So I had students ask me, how can you get things to push to me? They want it pushed to them, and Blackboard does not do that. They have to actively go seek it out and find it behind a bush in Blackboard. I mean, there's a folder inside a folder inside a folder, or they have to actively go check their email. So this solves that problem pretty easily. You're pushing them, the email. I mean, it just shows right up on their screen. And that's what today's students want.
I think between email and this was Twitter for me, where students were on their phone, and even I was on my phone, where I'm reading something and I see a message come in where I can respond quite quickly.
Yes.
With this, it does a few things. It has the scheduled push, and then you could have that immediate clarification as well.
And
it's just very handy.
Yeah, and you can set that schedule up one time at the beginning of the semester, and it's going to push all semester long. And you don't have to keep going. See, with Twitter, you have to keep doing it. It occupies your time, and we don't have time.
Right.
But if you set that up early, you're going to get the main reminders out there to everyone.
Right. That's what I found with particularly earlier semesters of doing this peer review assignment. 2 students would do a different one, so no one had a universal deadline for the entire, there wasn't a
I
classroom
see,
deadline.
yeah.
And so that was causing some confusion for some students. So, yeah, it's just a very handy thing, and it just allows, again, the phone is used for so many different things, we can connect.
So Sean, have you been able to do any kind of a real formal study to see if this has increased?
All right.
Have you, or has it all just been?
More informal feedback, yeah. So
Anecdotal?
I've spoken to students, and they really want other professors to use this. That seems to be quite universal. For the reminders, but also, I think the two things, the reminder, but just the clarification of things.
Uh-huh.
This seems to be more informal too than they're on their phone and they're almost texting you.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they're not, it's not going to your number, but yes, for that, students just having uncertainty about things like the quiz, the specific reading for an assignment, all of that was very helpful. So they think that all professors should use it. That was.
Have you had any negative comments?
No. I'm not saying it's
Right.
without criticism, but no, I haven't. If there was maybe just in the beginning to sign up,
Sign up.
what was necessary to sign up. But other than that, no. And again, that was my first time doing it, so I may have not been as
Yes.
clear in my explanation of it, but it is kind of straightforward though. I don't know what was causing the confusion, but I'd say about maybe 2 students per class had a little bit of trouble, but they did eventually sign up. When I did the, going from the email link out to then doing the in-class instructions where they texted it right in class, they
Yes.
signed up.
First
I
day
just
class.
think maybe, and obviously I'm an advocate of communication, but I think it might help those students who are more quiet in class and don't want to approach me or don't want to be seen, they want to be invisible in class, to reach out to say, hey, I am sick today, or hey, I have a question about this. I just think it would help that, because this is tied to students' right hand all the time.
Right.
And I think it's easier for them to communicate with me. Maybe that might be too much, but it's okay.
I did have a student tell me that only old school people still think email is the way to go.
All right.
That email is for old people. That's what she said, and I was like, thank you, because we rely on email.
I know Facebook is too.
We
It's
do.
gone, right?
Old people use email, everybody
Your
else
aunt
texts.
uses Facebook, so you're not going to use it, right?
Well, I think it's also when you send, it's great for shy students, but now email is almost formal and maybe too
Yes,
formal. And if you think your
yes.
question isn't important enough, you may not want to ask it on email.
Right.
This is, you can use your phone to ask, hey, are you here yet, or something like that,
Yeah.
but it's not as formal, I think.
You had 100% enrollment and am I
Yeah.
pretty much, almost?
Let me think. Yeah, with media, gender, it should be. Yeah, there's actually more participants than there are. You can sign up using your phone or your email, I think. And it's really the phone that you do. So some people doubled by accident. I think
Oh, I
that's where they're.
Is it voluntary? You just
Yes.
ask them if they want to participate, you don't require them to.
Right.
Okay,
And I
that's a
think,
good point.
I can understand with certain hesitance about,
Okay.
your phone's being hacked or something like that. Your phone, I can't see any numbers or anything like this on that, but I wouldn't force a student to do it.
So what percentage of participation do you think you get?
It's pretty close to 100%.
Wow. Voluntary.
Voluntary, yeah. So you see there are a
That
couple
says
of levels.
something.
But it's close, and so like, I have smaller classes this semester, but there I have like, yeah, I think it's 100% there. So,
Any other questions for Sean? Thank you so much.
all right, thanks for the.
Will you all fill out the evaluation form for me, please?